Hello everybody, this is your main man Keith here from Keith Plays PS4 927. Happy Tuesday morning to all my awesome viewers on this awesome channel. We are in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals for our Chicago Bulls Road to the NBA Finals Series, Series 1 for NBA 2K22. And we are tied in the series 1-1 over the Philadelphia 76ers. And the Sixers won last episode in the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, PA. We had won the first game, and the series is evenly tied 1-1. So there is going to be a Game 5 later on in the series. But this will be the first game in Chicago. So I will have both of the previous episodes in the links in the description if you guys want to check those episodes out if you have not already. And I'm really excited for the finals for Chicago, and if we make it, we'll probably face off against the Utah Jazz. So without further ado, we'll show you the uniforms, and we'll see you at tip-off. Alright, so the Philadelphia 76ers are going to be wearing their blue icon uniforms on the road in Chicago. For the Chicago Bulls, they're going to be wearing their Red City uniforms. So without further ado, we'll see you at tip-off. Alright, it is tip-off time here at the United Center in Chicago, and the Philadelphia 76ers have won the tip-off. Tyrese Maxey with the possession of the basketball. He's going to pass that over to Tobias Harris, and Tobias Harris is going to get the assist there as Philly knocks down a three to begin the first scoring of the first quarter. So now Lonzo Ball, the UCLA man, makes that three happen, and it is evenly tied up 3-3 here at the United Center. So now James Harden, he is actually going to make that layup happen for the Sixers. So it's now 5-3. So I'm going to pass it over to DeMar DeRozan. Gets that in there, so it is tied up 5-5. Alright, during the unexpected short break there, I had to change my Alexa's color lights to red. And Zach LaVine hits a three. Alright, so now James Harden has possession of the basketball. He's going to pass it over to Tyrese Maxey. He's going to pass it over to Joel Embiid for a nice dunk there. So it's now 10-8 Philadelphia. So now Lonzo Ball is going to pass it over to Zach LaVine, and he makes a nice slam. He was the slam dunk champion when he played for the Minnesota T-Wolves back in 2015 and in 2016. So now Tyrese Maxey has possession of the basketball, so he's going to pass it over to James Harden. And it looks like James Harden's going to make a nice spin move out of that one. Gets that in there for two, so it's now 12-10. James Harden with 7 points already. And Zach LaVine, he's going to make that nice slam dunk for the Chicago Bulls. So now it is Joel Embiid passing over Tyrese Maxey, and then James Harden going to pass that to James Harden. So what will James Harden do? Passing it to Tyrese Maxey, and Tyrese Maxey gets that in there. So I'm going to pass this all the way out to Javonte Green, and then DeMar DeRozan, former Toronto Raptors player, going to knock this from downtown behind the arc. So it's now going to be 15-14. James Harden, former Houston Rockets player, going to pass it over. Harden gets an assist. So now there's 1:11 to go in the first quarter. So now it is DeRozan. So now DeRozan gets this in from three. We are going to actually, was going to take a break there, but I'm not right now. So Tyrese Maxey has possession of the basketball, and the Sixers take a timeout. Now I'm going to take a break. Alright, Ayu Dosunmu, the Chicago native, picking up that rebound. So the break is over for the first quarter. So the Chicago native drills a three, and I think this might Dosunmu is the first Chicago Bulls player born and raised in Chicago since Derrick Rose. So Derrick Rose was from Englewood, Chicago, and he was born in Chicago in '88, and then spent like 8 seasons of his first 8 seasons of his NBA career with the Chicago Bulls. So 25-19, Bulls lead it by 6 to end the first quarter. Alright, now DeRozan passes it to Dosunmu. In the first quarter, Chicago had 5 points behind the arc, 5 threes behind the arc, and it is Kobe White who makes that in for 2. So now it is Danny Green, who is a member of the 2020 Los Angeles Lakers championship team, losing the basketball, and Dosunmu, the Chicago native, dunks that in the paint, so it's now 29-19 here at the United Center in Chicago. So now Shake Milton with the possession of the basketball. Where is he actually going to take this one to? He's going to pass it to Danny Green, and then he's going to pass it over to Willie Cauley-Stein. Misses that opportunity. So now Tristan Thompson picking up that rebound. Going to use some DeMar DeRozan, getting this one in for 2. And Tristan Thompson will pick up the assist. So now heating up in this episode, DeMar DeRozan with 10 points, and he is 4 for 4 from field goals. Willie Cauley-Stein makes that dunk happen. And now Dosunmu, he's going to pass it over to Troy Brown Jr. And then Thompson, White, Dosunmu, and then DeRozan, he's going to get this one in for 2. So will he actually get a three-pointer, or will he just get 2? I thought his left foot was going to hit the behind the arc area, and the Sixers are going to take a timeout. Alright, now this is Lonzo Ball's opportunity to do a crossover and gets this in for 2 points, so it's now 35-23. Shake Milton, he's going to pass it over to Tyrese Maxey. And now Tyrese Maxey, what is he going to do? Passing it over to James Harden, passing it over to Joel Embiid, who, by the way, his birthday's on Wednesday, passing it over to James Harden for a nice slam dunk in the paint. So now Dosunmu, he's going to pass it over to Javonte Green. And now Javonte Green's going to make that 3 happen for the Chicago Bulls. So it's now 38-25. And they're going to pass it over to James Harden, and then Tyrese Maxey with the possession of the basketball. He's going to pass it over to Joel Embiid. So now Joel Embiid is going to get this layup in there. And Chicago takes a timeout. We're actually going to take a short break. We are back from break, so we're going to use some Lonzo Ball. He's going to knock down a 3 from behind the arc. So it's now going to be 41-27. And now it is Tyrese Maxey with the possession of the basketball. He's going to pass it over to Shake Milton. Gets it in there. So it's now 41-29. So I got some Derrick Jones Jr., former Miami Heat player. Gets it in there for 2. So it's now 43-29. And they got some James Harden ready to knock down a 3. Ready to dribble. Hopefully he can knock down a 3. So he's going to pass it over to Shake Milton. And Milton gets that layup in there. So it's now 43.4 seconds to go. I'm going to pass it off to Derrick Jones Jr. And then some DeMar DeRozan gets it in there. 45-31. Going to pass it over to Tyrese Maxey. And then James Harden going to pass it over to Tyrese Maxey, and then Tyrese Maxey gets it in. 29.6 seconds to go in the first half. Going to pass it over to DeRozan. DeRozan goes in, and it's now 48-33. James Harden with the possession of the basketball. Where is he going to move the ball to, or will he just stand there and shoot a 3 until the shot clock is over? So there's 7 seconds left on the shot clock. He's going to pass it over. And now the moment of truth. DeMar DeRozan gets it in there. So it's now 50-33. And this will end the first half at the United Center. So it's now going to be 50-33. The Bulls are up by 17. Alright, so it's now 50-33. So Zach LaVine dribbling the basketball. He is going to go up and make that dunk in the paint. So it's now 52-33. So now, to begin the second half, LaVine and the Bulls make a dunk. So it's 52-33. So now James Harden's going to try to knock down a 3. and it goes in. So it's now 52-36. I'm going to pass it over to Derek Jones Jr. And then Nikola Vucevic, the former Orlando Magic player, gets that in there for 2. So it's now 54-36. James Harden going to pass it over to Joel Embiid. So Joel Embiid gets it in there. So now Zach LaVine has possession of the basketball. And it looks like he's going to get that in there. He's not going to dunk it for this round of the possession. So 11 points for him today. 4 from mid-range, and he already has 2 dunks, that guy. So now James Harden going to make that nice spin move. Tyrese Maxey has possession. He's going to pass it to Joel Embiid. Embiid makes the dunk there. And it's now going to be Lonzo Ball going to pass it over to Zach LaVine. And LaVine's going to make his 3rd dunk of the game, and the Sixers are going to take a timeout already. Alright, so we did take a little break there, and now it is 60-45. DeMar DeRozan, I'm actually going to do a crossover here, and he's going to get that in. There is a foul on Willie Cauley-Stein. It's a shooting foul, so this means DeRozan will go to the free-throw line for the Chicago Bulls. And it looks like he's going to make that in there, so it's now going to be 63-45. Willie Cauley-Stein going to pass it over to Tyrese Maxey. And now Tyrese Maxey has possession of the basketball. He's going to get that layup in there. So it's now 63-47. So Lonzo Ball going to pass that over to Derek Jones Jr. And then Javonte Green gets it in there. And it's now 65-47. So now they're going to pass it over to Danny Green and then Tyrese Maxey with the possession of the basketball. What's he going to do? He's going to pass it over to Paul Millsap, excuse me. And Chicago is taking another timeout. So we're going to take a short break as well. All right, now Javonte Green, he's going to pass it over to Kobe White. So there's now 24 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, 11 on the shot clock. So now let's make it count to have no shot clock. So it's now a 21-point lead for the Chicago Bulls here. So now Shake Milton's going to pass it to Willie Cauley-Stein, gets that in there. So it's now going to be 12.1 seconds to go in the 3rd. Javonte Green going to pass it off to Zach LaVine, makes that dunk happen, and it's now 75-54, 21-point lead for the Chicago Bulls. So I don't think they're going to make this in to end the 3rd. They do not. We'll see yins in the 4th. All right, your safe arm assist of the game is coming right up. Now Lonzo Ball passing it over to Zach LaVine. So now Zach LaVine gets that in the paint there as a dunk. So now James Harden and Joel Embiid on the court to begin the 4th. James Harden got to pass it over to Tobias Harris. Harden with the assist. So Ayu Dosunmu, he is going to pass that over to Kobe White. So now Kobe White gets this in there for 2 points. So it's now 77-56. Sixers are 81% in field goals, so that's not too bad. The Bulls are at 100. So, thinking here, going to pass it to Dosunmu, and then Troy Brown Jr. going to pass it off to Vucevic. Dosunmu, then White. And then Tony Bradley, I'm going to use some White. And White gets it in there for 2 points, so it's now 79-58. And now Embiid's going to pass it off to Shake Milton. So now Shake Milton losing the basketball there, and White picks it up. So he is going to get fouled by Shake Milton, a shooting foul, by the way. And he gets one in, the first one in, rather. And will he get the second one in? Yes, he will. So it's now going to be 81-58. 3 minutes to go in Chicago. So game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Anything can happen. Sixers are trying to catch up, but they're trailing by 21 points. And now we got DeRozan ready to ace the court, drilling it in from behind the arc. So it's now going to be a 24-point lead for the Chicago Bulls. So now They're going to pass it to Embiid, makes a spin move like dunk. So now Embiid has 10 points. All of them were in the paint, by the way. I'm going to pass it off to DeRozan, gets it in there for a dunk. So it's now 86 to 62. So the Sixers, I don't think they can score 24 points as fast as we did. So James Harden trying to make a three there, and it's now going to be a 86 to 65. Going to use some DeRozan. So now DeRozan gets this one in, and it's now going to be 88 to 65. We're going to take a timeout. DeRozan is your player of the game. I'll explain the numbers after the game. So we are going to take a small break here. So we'll see Yins in about 1 minute. Alright, so it's now 92 to 70. So now Asanmu gonna pass it over to Thomas, and then some Lonzo Ball gonna knock down a three for the Chicago Bulls. So it's now 95 to 70 with 1:15 to go in the fourth. So now James Harden, what is he gonna do? Knock down a three, gets it in. So it's now 95 to 73. So now Asanmu is going to get that in there. James Harden has a foul, by the way. It's a shooting foul. So this means we get to go to the free throw line. And if we actually get this one in, all we need left is just 2 points to score it in. So that will be pretty good. 28 points. Oh, we've had quite a bit of mid-range points today. So now Reed's going to pass it over. There's 50 seconds to go. And James Harden is going to miss that three. Asanmu picks up that rebound. I'm going to use some Javonte Green, number 24. Makes that three from behind the arc. So it's now 101 to 73. James Harden going to pass it over. And then Philly's going to try to attempt a three there. Harden makes that offensive rebound happen, and he makes it in there. So now I'm going to use Lonzo Ball. Going to pass it over to Javonte Green. Gets it in there. So it's 23.3 seconds to go. And sorry, I apologize for that. I paused the camera for a second just to sneeze. And Lonzo Ball gets that in there, 105-78. So we win 105-81 in our first game in Chicago for the Eastern Conference Semifinals. We win by 24 today. This was a really fun episode to watch off and on. So we're going to go over statistics right now. So Chicago leads the series 2-1. DeRozan, 31 points in all, 1 dunk for him on the day. Lonzo Ball, 17 points, 1 rebound, 7 assists on the day, had a dunk there. Zach LaVine, he had 15 points, 1 assist, and 5 dunks. So for every 3 points he made, he had at least 1 dunk. So 15 divided by 5 does equal to 3. And he did have an assist there. Javonte Green, 14 points on the day for him. 1 rebound, 1 assist there. Kobe White, he had 12 points, 1 assist, and 1 steal. And James Harden has 31 points, 1 rebound, 8 steals, 1 dunk on the day. 7 threes, by the way. Joel Embiid, 10 points, 2 assists. All of his points were in the paint. He had 3 dunks in all. Shake Milton, 8 points, 3 assists on the day. Paul Millsap had 7 points in all. Tyrese Maxey had 6 points. Danny Green had 6 points as well. So that wraps it up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.